Hi everyone. Today I'm here to do a reading for my new friend MoonSunWorld on here, or Michelle, and you should absolutely go check her stuff out. She's a wonderful reader and incredibly compassionate and intuitive. She did a reading for me last night, and I was incredibly impressed by her insight into the question I had for her. And she put a very inspiring amount of time into that reading. It took her about an hour to do, and I am very grateful for all that work she did. So I'm here to follow up my end of that and do a reading for her. And I'd like to do two readings for her, basically, doing the opening of the key first operation and the Celtic cross. So, because usually I think that the two can work well together. One gives you more detail, the other gives you sort of general advice and general things to think about as far as your energy output is concerned. So I've already invoked, shuffled, and all that. And for your fire pile, you have the Prince of Wands. Your water pile is the Three of Swords. The air pile is the Ten of Cups. And the overall outcome, your earth pile, is the Four of Wands. Okay. So, I get the sense that you're moving away from someone, that there's been distance put between you and others, or between you and your family and friends, or something like that. Because the Prince of Wands here in your fire pile shows that you are in the process of branching out, moving out, either going to a new location, or you're in a process of exploration and trying new things out. But he's very traditionally associated with travel and faraway places. And I think the result of this, the emotional result of this, is that it's sort of saddening and it's isolating. Um, as exciting as it is, and it's sort of the main focus here. It's very strong in its fire pile. As strong as that is, it's sort of emotionally taxing, and you're concerned about being left alone, or maybe not being able to maintain those relationships or starting new ones, because I see that the ultimate focus of that is on trying to maintain solid relationships with people, or trying to become involved in community more. But the fact of the Ten of Cups is that these, that our relationships and the things that make us happy in the material world do tend to fall out from under us, sort of at random. They tend to dry up eventually, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just sort of the way things go. And I think that the people that you have deep connections with, those won't be affected by this change, but maybe the people that are sort of, there's the great analogy of the types of people in your life as either leaves, branches, or roots. And I think, of course, the roots will remain for you, but I think your leaves and branches are going to maybe be wiped away a little bit, or you'll lose touch with them more. And I think that the ultimate result of this is not a bad thing at all. I think you're going to establish yourself in a very strong way by doing this, and you'll secure a greater amount of independence for yourself. Um, I always see the Four of Wands as that sort of establishment of one's own government, and it's very tactful and delicate, and you do have a very tactful and compassionate way about you, and I think that you're not going to have a problem situating yourself in whatever new environment you're finding yourself in, whether it be a work environment or a literal new location that you're finding yourself in, or what have you. It's going to be totally all right because you will be able to negotiate your way into that new situation with confidence and with caring and integrity. And so I see this as something that will be very beneficial to you in the long run, particularly materially, even though emotionally it's not so bright at the moment. I think in general the surroundings around you will, that's sort of redundant, your surroundings, you will be able to make them brighter and more solid for yourself, feeling more established. So to find where you are at the moment. So I used, by the way, the Queen of Wands for you because you are an Aries, and she is Aries, but also being a female fire sign. That makes sense to me anyway. I'm just looking for you here, and you are here in the air pile. So in the pile of concerns and worries, or how that initial will of the Prince of Wands and the emotional response of the Three of Swords are translating themselves into your more translating themselves into matter, into the situation itself, how the situation is in extension. And so we have the Ten of Cups again, of course. So we'll spread this on out. And again, I apologize if you can't quite see anything. I'll try to fit it in the screen. Sort of the difficulty of doing the spread for the camera. Okay. Alright, so I'll try to back this up a bit. Is there anything? Okay. Oh, alright. So here we are. Yeah, I know I've got a ridiculous shirt on, but a little disheveled today, but that's alright. Okay, so you are right here as the Queen of Wands, and you are surrounded by the Priestess and the Empress. So right away you have a very strong feminine aspect, a very strong intuitive and gentle nature, very motherly and concerned for those around you. Again, compassionate, which is totally what I get from that reading you did for me. You know, I think you're in a process of sort of waiting for things to come to fruition, sort of waiting to see where you are going in this process, and to some extent relying on your intuitive faculties to get you through, though perhaps you don't feel quite as confident in them as you usually do. There's something about the Priestess that is not as strong an influence, excuse me, as you usually feel, or perhaps this change that you're going through, or this change of setting, is not something necessarily that your intuition pushed you to do or influenced you to do, and maybe it's more a practical reason for this, as opposed to a more deep feeling of necessity. So we'll count to the right for you because she's female. 1, 2, 4. And the immediate result of this is sort of unhappiness with the work that you're doing. It seems sort of monotonous and slow. There's not a lot of excitement going on in this. There may be a little bit, but in general it's a very slow and tedious sort of work. It's laborious. There's a sense of manual labor involved in it, and that is not what you want to do. That's not pleasing you right now. and of course chronology for this is very difficult. This is your general present situation. But we see that whatever this line of work is, it's not very satisfying. 4, 5. And then we get, on this end, the 2 of Cups surrounded by the 10 of Cups and the 9 of Swords. So that, that seems like a contradiction to me, that in general you, there's on one hand a will to perhaps create stronger friendships again, that sort of theme that we were talking about before. There's a desire maybe to either to find a more romantic relationship, or within the circle of people that you know. Perhaps this speaks to the community of people that you work with, and maybe there's an attraction there that you're sort of concerned and worried about with the 9 of Swords. There's a sense that there's a sort of impatience about you, which is very Aries related. I would not be surprised if that's how you're feeling in this situation. You want it to move a bit faster, and you're concerned that it's not going at the speed that you would like it to. Again, when we count from the 2 of Cups, we hit the 9 of Swords again, sort of again emphasizing that your efforts to either to really connect with perhaps a specific person in that field of people is just in general exhausting and sort of taxing and concerning. It again does not happen quickly, and leaves you concerned as to why it's not happening quickly. Perhaps you are starting to turn that inwards and worry that it's something that you're doing wrong, and that's not the case. Perhaps at this point now you're starting to get inclinations to move out of that situation, perhaps, and explore other interests. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this, absolutely, the Aeon, or Judgment, surrounded by the 9 of Cups and the Hermit. So the 9 of Cups is not a particularly strong influence, but the Hermit is, and sort of brings it into balance. And so this is a very big moment for the most part. It's not as big as it could be, but it's a pretty substantial change in the way you see things, in the relationship you have to the world around you. And you perhaps see it more, you perhaps see it as a moment in which you can isolate yourself, perhaps, and do self-work or self-contemplation, and deal with your private matters first. That, it's sort of a revelation I think you have, that it's not necessarily about connecting externally, it's about connecting internally first and foremost, and that's what's going to make you truly happy. 2, 3. Then we count to the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups is interesting, given your role as an intuitive and caring tarot reader. But I feel like rather than this being another person, this is just an extension of you, sort of transforming into a more calm, reflective person who is more content with your own situation and your privacy, and that is really benefiting you right now. Oh my, I'm already at 14:49. This is what happens when you don't keep an eye on it. Alright, I will continue this in part 2.